Off the far coast of Mexico in the Pacific are a set of islands known as the Socorro Islands, known for their huge pelagic sharks, dolphins, and most famously, the oceanic manta. Unlike anywhere else in the world, these mantas have an unusual interest in divers, going out of their way to interact, circle, and play in their bubbles. And measured almost 30 feet wide with the largest brains in the fish world, these manta encounters make for some of the most incredible sightings anywhere under the water. This video is the story of our trip, diving these islands for over a week, and the fantastic things we saw along the way.
We're currently in the middle of the ocean, on an oceanic island called Roca Partida. This is a tiny rock in the middle of nowhere. It's just currently floating. It's a manta! Now she's dropped. See you later. Hey guys, it's Chris, Michelle, and Dylan.
Mantas.
We just got off a dive and we saw some.
Mantas.
And we saw some.
Mantas.
Total of
7.
Mantas.
7 mantas.
Mantas.
Great dive. Socorro's nice. Any other hot takes?
Water's cold.
Water is very cold. 1 hour, next dive. Here we go.
Mantas.
When you visit Socorro and the surrounding islands, the only way to get here is via Liveaboard, which, if you haven't seen our videos in the past, is basically a big boat where you eat, sleep, and dive off of for days on end. For this trip, we spent 9 days at sea, including a day-long crossing each way to get to the island chain. Each day starts with a dive briefing about the area, where you can learn a little bit more about what to expect underwater, and then suit up for your dive. Given how cold the water could be, sometimes going down to the 70s, we were in some pretty thick wetsuits.
Suit up.
These ships are large operations, with dive decks specifically set up for non-stop diving. Once we were ready to go, we headed downstairs to suit up into our gear and wait for our turn to head out into the Zodiacs. Hopping in the small boats is pretty easy, and once you're seated, you're off to your next dive. It's always fun as you pull up to these dive sites because from the top of the water, you feel like there's literally nothing around you except for these tiny outcroppings of rocks in the middle of the ocean. Prepped and ready, you do a back roll entry into the water and you're off to your next dive. This is the consistent rhythm 3 to 4 times a day, every day. Rinse and repeat. Typically freezing cold coming off of your dive. When you get back to the boat after your dives, there are hot showers and hot beverages available for you immediately when you get back, all of which to help you warm up after your dive. 2 of the other standouts of this boat had to be the hot tub on the back of the boat and the awesome dinners, including our Mexican New Year's Eve party.
What up, fam? We're here from the sun deck eating tacos. It's New Year's Eve. We're in Mexico.
Having a good time?
Peace.
Bye.
Even with such a pretty consistent schedule, every day was completely unique and brought with it a completely different set of things. And with 4 dives almost every day, you had a lot of chances to spot something cool. And with that, let's head off on our next set of dives and see what we can find.
I say 3, okay? 1, 2, 3!
Because these islands are pretty much in the middle of the ocean, they attract big animals from far and wide to find shelter, food, and most importantly, to get cleaned. And we're talking big animals, we're talking dolphins, mantas, and a ton of different species of sharks. As a diver, dolphins can especially be hard to find under the water in a lot of places across the world. So it's very cool when you have a chance to see them like this, especially when it comes with a manta sighting at the same time. In addition to the mantas, there's a huge shark population around these islands, who are also there for the cleaning stations and the nearby food. And even if you're not allowed to dive at night here, as the sun starts to go down in your last dives, things can get pretty active. The oceanic mantas come to these particular islands because of their interest in the clarion fish. An endemic species in this area, this tiny orange fish cleans the mantas and is the main reason they come to visit these dive sites. Clarion fish are an increasingly endangered species because of aquarium collecting, and they've been getting more and more protections over the past several years to help their populations increase again. These clarion fish are extremely important to these mantas and the divers that come visit them. And it's been found that without these clarion fish, the mantas no longer come to visit these incredibly special places. When you're diving with the mantas, they have a particular interest in your bubbles, getting right up and close and swirling over divers' heads as the bubbles from your regulator rise up around their bodies. If you find a particularly interested manta, they'll visit you multiple times a dive, swimming back and forth near the cleaning station, curiously checking you out and getting right up and close with you. Sometimes they'll get just a few feet away and soar right above your head before coming back for another pass. Some of the most special moments were those when you got to see the manta and the clarion interacting. These huge 30-foot black and white rays covered in these golden fish. The mantas would come into the cleaning station, swimming calmly together with the clarion, furling and unfurling their cephalic fins as they relaxed, hovering in the middle of the water, while the clarion swam all around their bodies, looking for something to eat and trying to keep up with these giant creatures. And above all, our favorite manta encounters were those where you had it all to yourself. When all the other dive groups have gone away in different directions, out of the far blue, you'd see a manta just slowly coming into sight. That feeling of remoteness in the middle of the ocean with just you, the mantas, and a handful of clarion fish heading out for a snack is something pretty special. After a long time away from diving, it was really nice to get back out there, get underwater, and put our diving skills to the test in some occasionally challenging conditions. And even though the water could occasionally get pretty chilly, it was so much fun to share the trip with some friends and be able to see some incredible things underwater. And with that, Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed the highlights of our trip, and we cannot wait to share what's coming up next. We'll see you later.